Arizona's Department of Education now links to chat rooms on its website for young people who are identifying as LGBTQ LMNOP+, to discuss sex and gender with adult moderators without their parents knowing. The ADE directed minors to Q Chat Space and Gender Spectrum. Those organizations rely on adult volunteers and staff to facilitate the minors talking about sex in these chat rooms without their parents' knowledge. There is no age verification for those joining the chats beyond just asking the people for a birth date. We reached out at the Daily Wire. We reached out to the Arizona Department of Education about these chat rooms. No one has responded to our inquiry. The online chat is so insidious, it has a quick escape function. So the Arizona Department of Education, just like Old Man Herbert and Family Guy, just like the creepy neighbor down the street who's leering at the kids, they say, hey, come on here. Are you questioning sexuality, young people under the age of 18? Well, come into our chat rooms. Yes, they're run by adult volunteers. And by the way, we don't verify anybody's age in here, young people. Yes, come on in. And by the way, if your mean old nasty parents ever look at you, there's a quick escape button. So if daddy walks into the room and you don't want them to know that we, the government, are using his taxpayer dollars to encourage you to talk about sex with creepy, weird adults, strangers, just click that quick escape button. And then it'll disappear. Daddy will never see it the minute he walks by. Then you can come back and talk about sex with us adults, paid for on the taxpayer dime. Do you think this is a good idea? I don't think it's a good idea. You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like they're kind of groomers. You remember a few weeks ago there was this big controversy. How dare you call the teachers pushing gender theory in schools groomers? That's so unfair. That's what you heard from the left, and that's what you heard from the squishy right. That's unfair. That's undignified. Don't call them that. No. And you say, well, it seems like kind of a slippery slope. It seems like a kind of an easily abused situation if a teacher's talking about sex to 5- and 6-year-olds. No, that's wrong. We'll never slip down the slippery slope. Boom, here we are. And now we've got the Arizona government encouraging creepy weirdo adults to talk about sex to kids without the kids' parents knowing. No, I think I'm at the bottom of the slippery slope, but deep down I know I'm not. I know we're not. We keep thinking we've hit the bottom and we're going to slide so much further, aren't we? And when I say that right now, the liberals are going to say, Michael, you're crazy. You're a conspiracy theorist. No, it's not going to get any worse. Well, we've been slipping pretty fast, pretty far for a long time now. We're already at the stage of taxpayer-subsidized pervert adults talking to little kids about sex on government-linked websites. How much further can we go? This is why it's so important for our legislatures to step up. Not the administrative agencies, which are almost entirely unaccountable to the will of voters who are generally a lot more normal and a lot more closer to the common sense than these government bureaucrats. We need to assert our political vision and our reason and our logic and our will through the legislature. That's what Indiana just did. So the Indiana legislature, run by the Republicans, proposed a bill to ban dudes who pretend to be girls from competing in girls' sports. Really basic stuff, and we've seen this throughout the country in lots of different states. And unfortunately, the governor of Indiana, Eric Holcomb, vetoed the bill. Maybe Governor Holcomb had his reasons. I like Eric Holcomb personally. Actually, I've known Eric Holcomb for years, and I like him personally. I don't know what he was thinking here. He was in the wrong to veto this bill. So what did the legislature do? Did they throw up their hands and say, okay, that's that, never mind? No, they overrode his veto. So Holcomb's argument was, in the two cases with initial rulings thus far, the courts have enjoined or prohibited laws with the same substantive provisions from taking effect based on equal protection grounds. Okay, so that's just a way of saying, I think the courts are going to strike down this law because the courts are going to try to trans the kids. Then he also said there was a third concern, which is that the newly proposed law implies that the goals of consistency and fairness in competitive female sports are not currently being met, but after thorough review, I find no evidence to support either claim, even if I support the overall goal. Now this last part is crazy. Even if he might have a practical political point on the first part that the courts could strike it down, Again, I wouldn't bet on that. I would still certainly sign the law, even if that were my main concern. But this last point here is crazy. He's saying, look, there's no evidence that female sports are unfair right now. Look at the NCAA Women's Swimming Championship. Who won the prize? You've got a giant hulking dude with all of his giant hulking dude parts pretty clearly visible in his silly women's bathing suit that he was wearing. He's got the gold medal. He's got prize number 1. And then you've got these diminutive little girls next to him. They're obviously different. They're obviously at a disadvantage. So this seems to be just a complete denial of reality. Regardless, I don't know. Whatever the thinking was in the governor's office, this is the right thing to do for the legislature to go in and say, look, you're our governor and we love you, but you're wrong on this issue and we're going to override you. Absolutely the right thing to do. And that's what conservatives should be doing around the country. When they meet pushback, whether it's because the Republicans are getting too many calls from worried corporations, whether it's because the governors are trying to find a middle ground on this issue of our boys boys or our boys girls. No middle ground to have. Whatever the reason, Republicans need to stand up and push back. This will be a political winner, I promise you. I promise you. It's not just the right thing to do, it's a political winner. I'm glad you liked that clip. Now, stop, ring the bell, link, click, subscribe, smash, do whatever you have to do. Get the notifications. Head on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you get your audio podcasts. Leave a 75-star review for The Michael Knowles Show. We'll see you next time.